Welcome back to the top 10 medieval LEGO MOCs of the month, the show where we take a look at the best medieval MOCs made by you. Now, if you'd like to enter your MOC to be in the next video, please stay tuned for more information at the end of this one. Up first, we have the Water Fort by Yasaker 2024. This build places the Raven Knights in charge of a rocky island fortress that I just adore. It's a very asymmetrical castle in its layout, and it feels fresh compared to most LEGO castles that I see. The designers also included a fair amount of access to the interiors as well, with hinged walls and also some removable towers, letting you get an even closer look at all the details. You also get some fun play features in it, like a working drawbridge, a raft, and a very small medieval cog ship. I'm a sucker for the Raven Knights, but honestly, this castle would look great with just about any faction at its helm. Thankfully, Yasaker has posted this MOC to the Bricklink Designer program and has styled it with the Snake Knights on there. So if this one ends up winning, you'll get a version of this castle with the newer Snake Knights, which would be pretty sick. You can find a link to Yasaker's work in the description, where you can also vote for the set, down below along with all of the other upcoming builders featured in this video. Up next, we have some Horse Knight habitats by JagBrickBuilds. This MOC reimagines the Horse Knight Castle set into 6 medieval habitats, including an exterior courtyard, a dungeon, and stables on the bottom layer. My favorites of these 3 on the bottom is probably the stable, as it just has some nice contrast in color compared to the other 2. The middle section of the pyramid includes a throne room and the Queen's bedchamber. These 2 are by far the best of the whole MOC, and they really shine in their use of the very limited 8x8 space. I also enjoy the fact that the more royal builds were placed above the exterior courtyard, dungeon, and stable, as it makes sense from a realism point of view, but it also kinda helps trick your eye into viewing this build as a cross-section of an actual LEGO castle. It is very well done. And finally, we have the tower habitat, which again makes perfect sense to be on the top of the pyramid. The designer chose to depict the exterior of a castle tower for their final build, which I think actually makes a lot of sense. They've even broken the standard habitat format a little bit here, which in my opinion always looks great when it's done to the top habitat. It's a bit boring on its own, but it works so well as the crown to this build. Moving on, we're going to take a look at a castle for the Pegasus faction. This Pegasus tower was sent in by Emil and caught my eye immediately because of the gorgeous photos taken of it. But ignoring the fantastic photography, I just love how this MOC looks. He's opted for a classic vignette style build with the black tiled border around the scene, and I think it looks great. The main subject of the build is this giant tower in the center with a flooded moat around it. I love how he's added in some variation in the color here around both the shore and the tower itself. Dark bluish gray to represent the wet stone, and different earth tones for the dirt and mud around the shore. It's very clever and it helps sell the effect. I especially love how the dark brown, reddish brown, and dark orange gradient here looks. It feels very natural to like a muddy riverbed, and I think it's super effective in the MOC. The terrain all around looks great, and I like how one side of it's a bit more covered and wild compared to the left side, where we can see some farm animals and even a stone pathway. Now, as for the tower, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it has grown on me a bit the more I look at it. It's very large, which would be fine normally, but it's missing some extra details to keep the build interesting at this large scale. The walls just feel a bit repetitive and flat. You do get a little bit of depth with the banners, windows, and arrow slits, but I still feel like this build could have used more depth and texture to make it stand out from the gorgeous terrain that it's placed in. Overall, I am a huge fan of this MOC, and I would love to see some more of your work in upcoming videos. You've got a really cool building style, and you seem to have a great eye for composition, so I look forward to seeing what you build next. Moving on, we have this Siege Ballista by Haughty5. Haughty has made a much larger ballista than I'm used to seeing, but man does it look fantastic. It's pulled in the front by 2 horses and also has a few working play features, with my favorite being the ability to raise and lower the ballista with a crank in the back. The MOC just looks so much like a medieval playset from the late 2000s in the best way possible. This MOC is also up right now in the Bricklink Designer Series 11, so if you'd like to vote for this to become a real set, you can find a link to it in the description to where you can vote. Up next, we have something very different to what I normally showcase in this series. This is a castle minifigure display case by QuakenC. They've taken a bunch of castle figs and some common LEGO castle building parts to make a 3-tiered minifigure stand, much like those acrylic ones sold online by various third-party sites. The concept of this MOC is just so fun, and I love how lively the MOC looks with all the different minifigures and like the kind of medieval party scene or feast going on. Again, similar to the Habitat MOC, it almost looks like a cross-section of a feast inside of a castle. It's a pretty simple build, but I really like it, and I had to include it in this month's video. Up next, we have a Cliffside Keep by Carson Lacy. He's taken the towers from the Lion Knight's castle set to new limits with this MOC. The basic formula from the 90th anniversary castle works so nicely here, and he's elevated it beautifully with the coloring of this build. You get dark gray rockwork near the bottom, light gray stone walkways and battlements, and then there's the gorgeous pop of dark orange and medium nougat for the majority of the towers. Everything about this MOC, from the composition to the fantastic colors, is just masterfully done. And I'd recommend you all go take a look through some of Carson's other work, both medieval and otherwise, because it's really impressive and has a lot of fun techniques. Next up, we have the Blue Pearl by legocounty. Now look, is this traditional Lego castle? Not really, but this is a castle at the end of the day, so I wanted to feature it. I mean, can you blame me? This is such a sick MOC, and I can't even start to imagine how long and how much money it took to build this behemoth. There are so many cool details in here, and I'd recommend you check out his page to get a full sense of it, but my favorite by far is the outer walls of the fortress. There's like over a dozen cannons defending it, and it's got these great slanted walls that go up and then straight up. It's super accurate to how real-life forts look, and I'm just so impressed by it. Sadly, this seems like one of those builds that I imagine can only be truly appreciated in person, just because of the scale of it and how dense the different sections of it are. Either way, I love it, and thank you so much to legocounty for submitting your MOC. It is super cool. Up next, we have another Bricklink Designer Series hopeful in the Viking longship by Derperior. Lego boats are so fun, but also tricky to build for noobs like myself, so I always appreciate seeing ones for Lego Castle, as I struggle a lot with building them. This one is a real standout to me because it's made with only 655 parts, and at least to me, it looks perfect. I've been saying it for a while now, but the Bricklink Designer Series has way too many expensive castle sets, and they should really start producing some more affordable ones. This Viking longship seems like a no-brainer to me, and I would absolutely buy one of these if it ended up winning. If you feel the same, please go vote for this one in the description, as it's only got a few more days left until voting ends. Up next, we have another small Bricklink Designer set from TheThunderDeer, who sent in their Tales of Swords, Scales, and Bonds MOC. I actually featured this build a few months back in a YouTube short, but since this MOC was re-uploaded for Series 11, I had to include it here. This one is one of my all-time favorite Bricklink Designer submissions, and I really want this one to win. The build's comprised of a small rockwork terrain with an autumn-colored tree. There's some fun details in it, like a sword in the stone, some critters in the branches, and, of course, the adorable sleeping red dragon. This dragon is far and away the best part of the set to me. It's just the perfect little Lego dragon, and it fits so well at the foot of the tree. I think the reason I love this set so much is because it's a great display set for under 1,000 pieces, and it would be a great way to get some more affordable castle sets from the Bricklink Designer program. Because as I said, most of the sets that come from it are around 4,000 pieces. I am wishing the TheThunderDeer all the best, and if you also like this build, I'd encourage you to go show some support for it on Bricklink. Again, there's only a few more days left to vote at the time of this video's release. Anyhow, next up we have the Port City of Antif by YubYubinatub. As castle fans, we're used to a lot of military-based builds, which is a lot of fun, but personally, I've always preferred doing regular medieval life builds. You know, peasant stuff. It's something you can only really do with MOCs, as LEGO historically has mostly focused on knights, kings, and wizards. And this Port City vignette is everything I love about medieval MOC building. You've got a gorgeous street section with a guard's tower, a giant half-timber frame building, and a small dock for the fishermen. So even though this is a peasant-focused MOC, you still get a little bit of the knight stuff with the tower on the left side. But my favorite part of this whole build is the half-timber frame building. The technique used here to get the angled wooden beams looks so good, and honestly fairly simple to replicate with a few brackets and cheese slopes. Finally, I've got to mention the minifigure staging and all the street details here. We've got a weapon rack in the center, which has a ton of different accessories on it, the previously mentioned dock with a couple of really nicely posed minifigures, and some very intricate looking brick-built doors on either side that help to break up the pattern of the stone walls really nicely. I love this mock, and I'm feeling pretty inspired to make some of my own peasant life mocks for myself, as this one is just so well done, and is overall super inspiring to me. Now, while some honorable mentions go by, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of you for sending in your builds. There was such a large wave of mocks that I was sent, and I'm just sadly not able to fit them all into one video, but I really appreciate it all the same, and will be replying to all of your emails over the next couple of days. Which, speaking of, the next video in this series is going to be going out on June 3rd. I want these videos to come out during the first week of the month to be a bit more timely since, well, this is a monthly series. Now, if you want your mock to be in next month's video, all you have to do to enter is send an email of your mock to this email address. Please attach the images of your mock directly to the email, as that maintains the best possible image quality and will make for a better showcase of your work. A big thank you goes out to my channel members Gyojo, Faisal, Rio Bricks, Walktermeister, Ryzen Covers, Peter, Daventria Bricks, Space Marine 5869, Nimble Saucepan, The Squat Up Kid, Bins Yuin, and all of my other members for supporting the channel. Keep making awesome mocks, and as always, thank you all so much for watching.